Good afternoon, you're welcome to the news. President Bola Tinubu has arrived Ethiopia to attend the 38th ordinary session of the Assembly of the African Union Heads of State and Government. The president was received at the airport by the Ethiopian Deputy Chief of Protocol, Eshetu Legese, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Trugar, and the Chargé d'Affaires of the Nigerian Embassy in Ethiopia, Ambassador Nasir Aminu. According to the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Nanuga, the President will deliver a speech at the summit-level meeting of the African Union Peace and Security Council, where discussions will focus on current security challenges at the continent, including the escalation of conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo. He will also participate in meetings on health financing, establishing an African credit rating agency. Among the wins was the re-election of Ambassador Bankole Adeoye as African Union Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security. This year's AU Summit, under the theme Justice for Africans and People of African Descent through Reparations, focuses on reparatory justice and racial healing. The President will return to Abuja on Monday. The National Assembly has passed the 2025 appropriation bill of 54.99 trillion naira, allocating 14.32 trillion naira for debt servicing and 13.64 trillion naira for recurrent expenditure covering service, overheads, and government operations. A cross-section of Nigerian economists and members of the organized private sector have commended the government for the budget but expressed reservations regarding how it will be funded. They praise it as necessary for economic growth, but decry the cost of financing and how it poses the risk of heightened inflation. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, announced the budget's passage after most senators supported through voice votes. The lawmakers approved the 23.96 trillion naira for capital projects under the development fund aimed at infrastructure growth and economic expansion, while 344.85 billion naira was allocated to the National Assembly. In the meantime, the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, has said that the current tax laws in Nigeria are unconducive for growth. Oyedele said this at the inaugural Economic Roundtable and 2025 Macroeconomic Outlook event of rating firm held in Lagos. After months, the House of Representatives has passed the 4 tax reform bills for a second reading and referred them to the Finance Committee of the House for further legislative work, including a public hearing. Speaking at the event where he was a keynote speaker, Oyedele said the committee had found that Nigeria's tax system is unconducive for growth. According to him, the committee taxes anything and everything that moves. On the foreign exchange, he maintained that the fiscal authorities were in good stead to handle the situation. Meanwhile, a renowned economist, Dr. Doyin Salami, called for efficient and effective spending by the government, lamenting the instability of the economy. On the Southwest Governors Forum, comprising the governors of Osun, Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Ekiti, and Edo states, have agreed to establish a joint security surveillance to tackle terrorists under the banner of the Islamic State West African Province, ISWAP. This is revealed after a meeting of all the 6 governors in the region, namely Senator Adeleke of Osun, Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos, Dapo Abiodun of Ogun, Seyi Makinde of Oyo, and Lucky Ayedatiwa of Ondo, held at the Governor's Office Lagos House, Alausa, Ikeja. The move comes amid earlier reports of infiltration of the terrorists into some forests in the southwest region. Governor Makinde had warned that bandits fleeing military operations in the northwest were seeking refuge in Oyo. At an annual interfaith service for workers held at the Secretariat Agodi, Ibadan, Governor Makinde said during our security briefing he stated that some bad elements from the northwest are relocating to Oyo State due to military heat in their zones. The Department of State Services had also recently arrested 10 suspected members of ISWAP in Ilesha, Osun State. And now to sports. 7-time champions Flying Eagles will battle with Egypt, South Africa, and Morocco in Group B of the 2025 Under-20 AFCON scheduled for Côte d'Ivoire between the 26th of next month and the 18th of May. beg your pardon, between the 26th of April and the 18th of May. The draw for the tournament was made at the CAF headquarters in Cairo, Egypt, and it is the second consecutive time Nigeria will be in the same group as Egypt in the competition. It will be recalled that the Flying Eagles pipped the Young Pharaohs, who were also hosts of the last edition 1-0 in a group phase match in 2023, and they must ensure a great start to their campaign in Cote d'Ivoire to build confidence for a tough tournament, which will also serve as the qualifiers for the 2025 Under-20 World Cup in Chile from September 27 to October 29 this year. Former Malian player Adama Koulibaly, an assistant at the draw conducted inside the CAF headquarters in Egypt, said there is no doubt that the toughest group is the Group B, that has Nigeria, Egypt, South Africa, and Morocco. The two top-placed teams in each group, alongside the best two third-placed finishers in the three groups, will advance to the championship's quarter-finals. And on the foreign scene, U.S. President Donald Trump's administration has begun laying off probationary employees as it moves to the next stage of its plan to aggressively shrink the federal workforce. Information revealed that U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs was one of the first departments to publicly confirm the layoffs, announcing that it has dismissed more than 1,000 probationary employees in non-mission critical positions. It said the dismissals are part of a government-wide Trump administration effort to make agencies more efficient, effective, and responsive to the American people. Although the exact number of federal employees affected were unclear, with over 200,000 recently hired workers are currently serving out their probationary period. The Trump administration had directed agency heads to terminate most trial and probationary staff who have fewer civil service protections. An employee who was laid off from a job at the United States Office of Personnel Management told newsmen on conditional immunity that she had been fired during a video call. The actions followed a White House push led by OPM to shrink the number of government workers by offering them 8 months' pay to resign. And again, on the foreign scene, the remains of 14 South African peacekeepers who tragically lost their lives in the Democratic Republic of Congo were repatriated to South Africa. The soldiers were honored with a ceremony at the Air Force Base in Pretoria. While addressing the ceremony, President Cyril Ramaphosa paid tribute to the soldiers' bravery and sacrifice. The soldiers were killed last month during violent clashes between the Democratic Republic of Congo Army and M23 rebels. President Ramaphosa further emphasized the significance of the soldiers' mission in the DRC, noting that South Africans regard them as heroes of their nation, stressing that their work in the DRC was not just about maintaining order, but building bridges, peace, fostering understanding, and creating pathways for lasting peace in the region and on the African continent. The soldiers' coffins draped in South African flags were carried with reverence by members of the Air Force. The remains were then handed over to their grieving families who were present to honor the loved ones. As the media news OSBC television, it was edited by Michael Adeleke. Join us free for the state news. Good afternoon.
But social and political divisions, rebellions, and civil wars shook the Umayyad Caliphate. In the Battle of Karbala, the Umayyads murdered Ali's son, delivering a resounding and formative blow to the Shias. Finally, in the mid-8th century, the various oppositions to the ruling power organized into a military force that brutally massacred the Umayyad family.
Mighty